11 Things I No Longer Believe in After 70. Reaching 70 is a profound journey filled with lessons learned, cherished experiences, and beliefs reshaped. With decades of life behind us, it's natural to look back and realize that some things we held as truths in our youth no longer hold the same weight. Life at this stage isn't about regrets but about clarity, letting go of what no longer serves us and embracing what truly matters. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. The need to please everyone. For much of my life, I wore the mask of a people pleaser. I sought approval in every interaction, molded my choices to fit others' expectations, and found myself apologizing even when I wasn't at fault. At the time, I thought this was kindness, a virtue worth nurturing. But as the years passed, I began to see the cost of constantly seeking validation, the slow erosion of my own desires, my voice, and my identity. At 70, I now understand that living for others' approval is like chasing the horizon. No matter how far you run, it's always out of reach. People's opinions shift like the wind, and trying to satisfy everyone only leaves you drained and unfulfilled. The truth is, you'll never be enough for everyone, and that's okay. I've learned that true connection doesn't come from bending myself into shapes that please others. It comes from authenticity, showing up as I am, flaws and all, and allowing those who value me for who I truly am to stay in my life. The people who matter, those who love you deeply, don't need you to be perfect or selfless to the point of self-sacrifice. They just need you to be real. At this stage in life, I focus on pleasing the person who matters most, myself. This doesn't mean I've stopped caring about others. It means I've stopped betraying myself in the process. I give where I can, love deeply, and share generously, but only from a place of abundance, not obligation. The peace I feel now is a gift I wish I had understood decades ago. The freedom to let go of the impossible task of pleasing everyone is one of the greatest rewards of getting older. 2. Perfection as a goal. In my youth, perfection was the North Star that guided me, a constant, unreachable standard I felt compelled to chase. I believed there was a perfect way to live, love, and succeed, whether it was keeping an immaculate home, raising ideal children, or presenting myself in a way that left no room for judgment. I thought perfection was not only achievable but necessary. But over the years, life has taught me that perfection is not only unattainable, it's an illusion. No matter how hard you strive, the perfect image is always shattered by reality. Life is messy, unpredictable, and beautifully imperfect. The moments I cherish most aren't the ones where everything went according to plan, but the ones where imperfection brought unexpected joy. A burnt birthday cake that became a family joke, a trip derailed by rain that turned into a cozy day of stories and laughter. At 70, I've let go of the belief that life needs to be flawless to be fulfilling. In fact, I've come to see that it's the imperfections, the cracks in the veneer, that make life richer. They allow for vulnerability, growth, and connection. When we stop hiding our flaws and start embracing them, we create space for others to do the same, and in that space, we find the real beauty of life. Perfection, I've realized, is not a standard to reach but a prison that keeps us from living fully. It stops us from trying new things for fear of failure, from expressing ourselves for fear of judgment, and from taking risks out of fear of falling short. Letting go of perfection has been like laying down a heavy burden I didn't know I was carrying. Now I aim not for perfection but for presence, to show up in life as I am, embrace the mess, and find joy in the unexpected. If I could speak to my younger self, I'd tell her this: perfection is a lie, and chasing it will only leave you exhausted. Instead, aim to live authentically, love fiercely, make mistakes, and savor the imperfect moments. They're the ones that truly matter. 3. Material wealth equals happiness. For much of my life, I bought into the idea that material wealth was a gateway to happiness. The bigger house, the newer car, the designer clothes, all of it seemed to promise a life of fulfillment and status. I worked hard, spent harder, and measured success by the things I could accumulate. Each purchase came with a fleeting sense of joy, but it never lasted. The happiness I thought I was chasing always felt just out of reach, like a mirage in the desert. Now, at 70, I understand the lie hidden in that belief. Material wealth might bring convenience and comfort, but it doesn't bring meaning or connection. A spacious house is empty without love. A sleek car feels hollow without someone to share the journey. The things we own can never fill the spaces in our hearts that long for companionship, purpose, and peace. Looking back, I find that my most treasured memories have nothing to do with money. The laughter of my children echoing through a modest home, a road trip with friends in a car that had more dents than seats, the way a simple meal shared with those I love tastes richer than any feast in the finest restaurant. These are the moments that have stayed with me, far outlasting any material possession. At this stage of life, I value experiences over things, relationships over possessions, and time over money. The pursuit of material wealth often comes at the cost of what truly matters: our health, our relationships, and our joy. I've seen too many people work themselves to the bone for wealth they never get to enjoy, only to realize too late that they were rich in money but poor in life. Happiness, I've learned, isn't something you can buy. It's found in the quiet moments of gratitude, the love we give and receive, and the peace that comes from knowing we've lived a life true to our values. At 70, I no longer chase material things. Instead, I seek the wealth of a life well lived, time with loved ones, memories that warm the soul, and the kind of contentment money can't buy. 4. Shoulds and social expectations. For decades, my life was guided by an invisible script of shoulds. I should go to college, build a career, get married, have children, and live a life that checked all the boxes of societal approval. I should say yes when asked for help, even when my plate was already full. I should smile even when I was hurting. I should follow the well-trodden path because that's what everyone expected of me, and I did. I followed the script, met the expectations, and lived the life I thought I should. But somewhere along the way, I lost sight of the most important question: what do I want? What makes me happy? At 70, I've finally stopped letting the shoulds dictate my choices. I've come to see them for what they are: social constructs, often arbitrary and outdated, that don't account for the individuality of a person's heart and soul. The shoulds may work for some, but they aren't a one-size-fits-all blueprint for a meaningful life. I've also realized that the people who impose these expectations, whether intentionally or unconsciously, are not the ones who have to live with the consequences. I spent too many years saying yes out of obligation, only to feel resentment and exhaustion. Now I say yes only when it aligns with my values and my joy, and when I say no, I do so without guilt. At this stage of life, I no longer measure my worth by how well I meet others' expectations. Instead, I measure it by how true I am to myself. I've given myself permission to rewrite the script, to pursue the things that bring me happiness and fulfillment, even if they don't fit the mold. Whether it's traveling instead of settling down, taking up painting instead of something practical, or simply saying no to things that drain me, I live my life for myself now. The freedom to let go of the shoulds has been one of the greatest gifts of growing older. It's given me the courage to live authentically, to choose boldly, and to embrace the beauty of a life lived on my own terms. At 70, I no longer believe in the weight of societal expectations. Instead, I believe in the power of listening to my heart and living a life that feels true to who I am. 5. Time as infinite. When I was younger, time felt endless. There was always tomorrow, a tomorrow to mend relationships, chase dreams, or simply enjoy life's simple pleasures. Days blurred into weeks, weeks into years, and I moved through life with the quiet assumption that I had all the time in the world. The future felt like a vast, uninterrupted stretch of possibilities waiting for me to catch up. But as I grew older, the illusion of infinite time began to dissolve. Each passing year brought the sobering realization that time is the most finite resource we have. At 70, I no longer take for granted that there will always be another tomorrow. The truth is, life is fragile, unpredictable, and achingly short. We don't know how many moments remain, and that understanding has shifted how I live each day. This isn't a cause for despair but a call to presence. Knowing that time is limited has made me more intentional with how I spend it. I no longer squander hours on trivial worries or meaningless pursuits. I've stopped saying, someday, to the things that truly matter, calling an old friend, writing that letter, watching a sunrise with no agenda but to marvel at its beauty. These are not grand gestures, but they are moments that make life rich. I've also let go of the belief that time heals all wounds. Time, by itself, is passive. Healing comes from the effort we put into forgiveness, closure, and moving forward. Relationships left untended don't naturally repair themselves over time. They wither. I've learned to act while I can, while the people I love are still here, and the opportunity to say what matters still exists. At 70, I treasure time not as an infinite resource but as the most precious gift I have. I no longer waste it on grudges, regrets, or the things that don't bring me joy. Instead, I invest in love, kindness, and moments that make life worth living. Time may not be infinite, but the beauty it holds is boundless if we choose to see it. 6. Conflict without resolution. In my younger years, I believed that holding on to resentment or anger gave me power. I thought that unresolved conflicts, whether with friends, family, or even myself, were just part of life. Some wounds felt too deep, some wrongs too egregious, and I justified my silence or distance as a way of protecting myself. I believed that time alone would eventually dull the pain and that avoiding confrontation was easier than facing it. Now, at 70, I see conflict without resolution for what it truly is, a burden that weighs down the soul. Carrying unresolved anger or hurt doesn't protect us, it chains us to the very pain we wish to escape. I've learned that holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It drains our energy, our joy, and our peace. Letting go of conflict doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or pretending nothing happened, it means freeing ourselves from the grip of bitterness. Sometimes it's about having the hard conversations, acknowledging hurt, seeking understanding, and extending forgiveness where it feels right. Other times, it's about making peace with the fact that some people won't change, some apologies won't come, and some wounds will remain. In those moments, forgiveness becomes an act of self-care, a way of saying, I choose to set this burden down. There's also a kind of resolution we must find within ourselves. I've had to forgive myself for mistakes I made, words I wish I could take back, and opportunities one let slip by. Self-forgiveness has been one of the hardest lessons to learn but also one of the most liberating. Carrying guilt serves no one, releasing it opens the door to grace. At this stage in life, I no longer have the energy or desire to let unresolved conflicts take up space in my heart. Instead, I prioritize peace, both with others and within myself. I've found that resolution doesn't always mean reconciliation, but it always means freedom. At 70, freedom from the weight of anger and regret is a gift I give myself daily. 7. The need for constant productivity. For most of my life, I believed that my worth was tied to how much I could accomplish. Productivity became my measuring stick for success, and I wore busyness like a badge of honor. Whether it was advancing my career, keeping a spotless home, or saying yes to every obligation, I was always striving to do more, achieve more, and prove my value to the world. Rest felt indulgent, laziness felt shameful, slowing down felt like falling behind. But as the years have passed, I've come to see the emptiness in that belief. The relentless pursuit of productivity leaves little room for the things that truly matter: relationships, reflection, and simply savoring the moment. At 70, I no longer believe that constant productivity is a requirement for a meaningful life. In fact, I've realized that some of the most profound moments happen in the quiet spaces where nothing is being accomplished. The truth is, we are not machines. Our purpose is not to churn out results but to live deeply, love freely, and experience the richness of life in all its forms. I've learned to embrace rest not as a luxury but as a necessity. Rest gives us the strength to keep going, the clarity to see what truly matters, and the presence to enjoy the beauty that surrounds us. This doesn't mean I've stopped doing the things I care about, it means I've redefined what productivity looks like. Sometimes it's as simple as spending an afternoon reading a book, walking in the park, or having an unhurried conversation with a friend. These moments don't generate accolades or checkboxes, but they fill my soul in ways no accomplishment ever could. At this stage of life, I no longer equate my value with how much I do. I see my worth in the love I give, the kindness I show, and the moments of joy I create. The need for constant productivity is a lie that steals our time and peace. Letting go of that belief has allowed me to truly live. 8. Youth as the pinnacle of life. For much of my life, I believed in the cultural narrative that youth is the best time of life. We're told to cherish our younger years because they're the peak, the time when we're strongest, most beautiful, and full of potential. This belief creates a quiet fear of aging, as though life diminishes with every passing year, and the best is always behind us. But now, at 70, I see just how wrong that narrative is. Youth has its joys, but it also comes with uncertainty, insecurity, and the weight of trying to figure out who you are and where you belong. The years that have followed, each filled with lessons, experiences, and hard-won wisdom, have brought a depth of joy and peace I could never have understood in my youth. At this stage of life, I've let go of the belief that aging is something to fear. I no longer see wrinkles and gray hair as signs of decline but as markers of a life lived fully. Each line tells a story. Each silver strand is a testament to the years I've endured and the love I've given and received. Growing older isn't a loss, it's a privilege denied to many. Every year, every moment is a gift. There's a confidence that comes with age, a freedom from the insecurities that once held me back. I no longer feel the need to prove myself to anyone. I no longer obsess over appearances or chase after the fleeting approval of others. Instead, I focus on what truly matters: connection, gratitude, and leaving the world a little better than I found it. Youth is not the pinnacle of life, it's just one chapter. At 70, I see the richness in the chapters that follow, the way they weave together into a story that is uniquely mine. The later years bring their own kind of beauty, a beauty rooted in wisdom and acceptance, in the quiet contentment of knowing who you are. I wouldn't trade this stage of life for anything. 9. Unquestioning belief in authority. In my younger years, I believed in the steadfastness of authority. I trusted institutions, leaders, and the systems they upheld, thinking they had the collective best interest at heart. Whether it was political figures, religious leaders, or even societal norms, I rarely questioned the motives or the structures that guided my life. I assumed that those in power must know what they were doing and that their authority was inherently just. But decades of life experience have opened my eyes to the flaws, biases, and self-interest that often underlie authority. Authority, I've learned, is not inherently right or wise, it is human, and humans are fallible. People in power can be driven by ambition, ego, or greed just as much as by a genuine desire to serve. Institutions can become rigid, failing to adapt to the needs of the people they were created to support. Traditions, while comforting, can sometimes hold us back from progress. At 70, I no longer believe in unquestioning loyalty to authority. Instead, I've learned to ask questions, to think critically, and to trust my own judgment. Blind obedience is a dangerous path. It robs us of our agency and our ability to discern right from wrong. It's not about being distrustful of everything. It's about being discerning, about holding authority accountable, and about seeking the truth even when it's uncomfortable. This change in perspective hasn't made me cynical. It's made me free. Free to challenge outdated ideas, free to align with values rather than hierarchies, and free to carve my own path. True respect, I've realized, is earned through integrity and transparency, not through titles or tradition. And true authority is shared. It uplifts, it listens, and it evolves. At this stage of life, I hold on to these truths as I navigate a world that is always changing. 10. Fear of aging itself. When I was younger, the idea of aging loomed over me like a shadow. I feared the loss of youth, the slowing of my body, and the inevitable passage of time. Aging seemed like a thief that would rob me of beauty, strength, and relevance. Society reinforced this fear with its relentless celebration of youth, and its silence about the value of growing older. I watched others try to resist aging with creams, surgeries, and desperate attempts to cling to their younger selves. I thought I might have to fight that same battle. But now, at 70, I no longer fear aging. Instead, I see it as a natural, even beautiful, part of life. Growing older has brought me a kind of freedom I never knew was possible. I've let go of the pressures of appearance, the weight of comparison, and the endless striving for what society deems success. Aging has allowed me to strip away the superficial and focus on what truly matters: love, connection, and the legacy I leave behind. There's a peace that comes with embracing age. Each year is a gift, a privilege denied to many. My wrinkles are not something to hide, they are maps of my journey, etched with the laughter, tears, and wisdom of a life well lived. My body may not move as swiftly as it once did, but it carries the strength of endurance and the grace of survival. While my reflection may have changed, the person I see in the mirror is more authentic, more grounded, and more at peace than ever before. For aging isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. It's not the end of vitality, but a shift in focus. I've traded youthful ambition for a quiet confidence, the rush to achieve for the joy of simply being. I no longer fear the passing of time because I've learned to cherish the time I have. Each day is an opportunity to love deeper, to laugh louder, and to leave the world a little brighter. 11. The illusion of control. For much of my life, I believed in control, the idea that if I worked hard enough, planned well enough, and made all the right decisions, I could shape my life exactly as I wanted. Control felt like safety, a way to guard against the chaos of the unknown. I clung to it tightly, thinking that meticulous planning and unrelenting effort would ensure stability, success, and happiness. But life, as it does, taught me otherwise. Unexpected twists, unplanned losses, and moments of sheer unpredictability have shown me that control is more illusion than reality. The truth is, no matter how carefully we plot our course, life unfolds in ways we can't always predict or influence. Loved ones leave too soon, plans fall apart, and the world shifts in ways we never imagined. At 70, I no longer believe in the illusion of control. Instead, I've embraced acceptance, a quiet, steady acknowledgement that life is as much about adapting to the unexpected as it is about pursuing our goals. This doesn't mean giving up on dreams or living passively. It means learning to flow with life rather than fighting against it. It means finding peace in uncertainty and understanding that letting go of control doesn't mean letting go of hope. What I've learned is that the only thing I can truly control is my response. I can choose to face challenges with grace, to seek joy even in difficult times, and to find meaning in the twists and turns of life. This shift has been liberating. I no longer carry the weight of needing everything to go perfectly. I've learned to trust the journey, even when I can't see the destination. Life is a dance between intention and surrender, and at this stage of life, I've come to cherish the beauty of that balance. Control may be an illusion, but acceptance is a gift that has brought me peace, resilience, and a deeper appreciation for the unpredictable, wondrous nature of life. Final thoughts. At 70, I find myself lighter, not in the physical sense, but emotionally and mentally. Letting go of these outdated beliefs has been a gift, freeing me to live authentically and joyfully. Life may not be perfect, but it is rich, meaningful, and mine to embrace. If you're reading this and find yourself at a similar stage of life, I encourage you to reflect on the beliefs you've outgrown. What have you let go of? What lessons has life taught you? Sharing these insights not only enriches our own journey but can inspire others as well. Here's to the clarity, wisdom, and freedom that come with 70 and beyond. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with one thing you've learned. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.